All right, what's going on, everybody? The Iceman here on the Iceman's Return YouTube channel. Yeah, it's been a few days. I spent some time with my family. It was my niece's birthday. Had a good time out there. Watched a lot of videos and whatnot. And I watched the video today pertaining to Sean's View Entertainment and Gemini 888. A very good conversation by both of them. Congratulations on, um, really enlightening a lot of people. I would, honestly want to say this about Gemini 888. He really was down to earth in this conversation with Sean's View Entertainment. He did tell Sean what he thought. He also gave him some advice and whatnot, and it was a good conversation all the way around. So congratulations to both of them. Now, last night, I was watching a lot of news and rumors and whatnot. Obviously, we all know Taz has gone from TNA, and I've watched a lot of videos on that. And my reaction to all this is, everybody's saying, okay, here's another guy that leaves TNA, and it is the bottom line. TNA, you need to fix this issue. You've been putting on great shows. Obviously, I was reading Destination America is a little upset with TNA for the simple fact is that the ad content that they put on during the show does not bring in much money. Well, you said, and I quote, I read this. Destination America said that TNA Impact Wrestling is their highest rated show on Destination America. So maybe you ought to change your ad, um, content, and maybe you can, bring in some more money financially. All right. Now, last night, uh, every time I go out to Portland, Connecticut, me and Matt on the night that the first night I stay there, we always watch a classic episode of professional wrestling. Last night we watched WCW Nitro from September 14th, 1998. It was a Nitro after Fall Brawl. This was a great show. In fact, there was a lot of good things that happened there. And we were researching this. I believe it had like an 8 point something rating. I could be wrong, but I think it was like 8 point something. This was a night where we saw a lot of great stars. There was a lot of NWO, and that's what I was saying to Matt last night. I don't really recall it when I was actually watching it back in '98, but NWO music just was on. It seemed like the majority of the night because there was a lot of NWO matches and whatnot. We did see Hulk Hogan. He didn't wrestle, but Hulk Hogan was not champion at that time. Bill Goldberg was, and I'll get to Bill Goldberg in a minute. But this was the night where Perry Saturn came out, and he really addressed the flock, saying they needed to disband from Raven, and they could be a lot better on their own. And it was a pretty cool night, actually. We saw Kendall Windham in a match um, against Wrath, which was a very good match. We just saw a lot of good stuff. Um, Billy Kidman ended up facing Juventud Guerrero, the cruiserweight champion, um, his first time after not being with the flock. And this was, we all know Juventud. Juventud was a great cruiserweight in WCW. Billy Kidman, was as well, and it was a very, very good match. Also, and Kidman ended up winning the cruiserweight title. I forgot about that actually until we watched it again last night. So, like I said, we saw a lot of really good stuff last night. Um, Also, it was the reformation of the Four Horsemen. Um, Mike Tenay was outside, waiting for the limousine at the airport and whatnot, and waiting to see Ric Flair. And it didn't come to be, while we were watching it, but it was great for the anticipation factor. But anyhow, James J. Dillon came out later on in the night, called out Arn Anderson, and then Arn Anderson started calling out people. He called out Steve Mongo McMichaels, he called out Chris Benoit, and he called out Dean Malenko. And you knew from there on what was to be next. And I remember watching this segment back when it actually, aired live. And I said to Matt, I said, well, he's going to screw up and he's going to say, wait, I forgot about somebody. And he did. He forgot about bringing out Ric Flair, who was gone basically close to a year because him and Eric Bischoff had a lawsuit. So Flair was away from WCW. Flair came out. The crowd went nuts in Greenville and Greenville, North Carolina. It was just like awesome. Flair, teary-eyed and whatnot. And it was a great segment. Bischoff came out saying, "You're never going to work for me. You're never going to work on my show and whatnot." But that was the reformation of the Four Horsemen. One of the best segments of the night, which was a very sad segment, which I remember watching live, and I'm going to myself, "Oh wow, you got to be kidding me!" Scott Hall came out with Vincent, and he was to have a match with Lex Luger. Hall came out with a drink, and he stumbled a number amount of times. He was in the ring. He was climbing through the ropes. His feet got caught at the bottom rope, and he fell flat on his face. They finally did get the match going with Lex Luger, and Scott Hall was just like doing all his funny stuff. When he started off, he did the survey says and all this stuff, WCW, NWO, and whatnot. It was great, but you could tell by looking at Scott Hall that he had an issue that night. And when Luger and him were wrestling, you could see Luger, and you could barely hear it, but you could hear him say, "Scott, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get fired?" And Scott Hall would go like this. It was like totally. Believe me, it was very, very entertaining to say the least, but it was also sad as well. And it got down to the point where Luger knew something was wrong, and finally Eric Bischoff finally came out from out back, and he pulled Scott Hall out of the ring, and he told him right out. He goes, I don't know what to do. I can't save you, And they broke kayfabe that night because Luger came over to talk to Scott Hall, and then you saw Conan and Kevin Nash come out from out of the back. Now, Kevin Nash at the time was with NWO Wolfpack, so he was not with Scott Hall. And all Scott Hall kept saying to Kevin Nash was, "Where were you when I needed you? Where were you when I was having all my problems?" And then Scott Hall proceeded to walk away, and then he turned on Eric Bischoff and he vomited on Eric Bischoff. And then they went to a commercial break. It was one of those nights. It was reality though. This was reality. Simple fact that Scott Hall had alcohol and pill issues and whatnot. He had family problems, which created a lot of the situation. So, but anyway, that was a very entertaining segment. But it's not the kind of segment that you want to say, to go around and brag about. But it still, in any event, was entertaining. And obviously, then we had the main event. It was Bill Goldberg, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, going up against the long-haired, red-faced NWO Wolfpack Sting in a match that was superb. This is what WCW did. I think by having a match like this without the NWO main eventing is what the WCW should have done, earlier than what they did, because they so focused on NWO all the time. Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. We all know Hulk Hogan was champion most of the time in the NWO, and but this was a great match. It 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 got to the point where Sting did all his maneuvers, his finishing moves on Goldberg. Goldberg got out of it. Goldberg did the same to Sting. Sting got out of it. And then finally, at the very, very end, Goldberg did end up getting the win. Now, it was a tainted win for the fact that Hogan came into the ring. Sting got kicked in the head. And that left Goldberg to the point where, okay, now I can really do this. But after it was all said and done, Bill Goldberg, the man that he is, went to attend to Sting, and also Bret Hart came in, and he tried to help out Goldberg and Sting as well. Earlier in the night, Bret Hart came in and apologized to all the fans, saying, he made the wrong choices, the wrong decisions, and he wants the fans to give him a second chance. So, obviously Bret Hart, who was a heel for so much time in WCW, decided to make the turn and say, hey, this is what it's all about. And he came in to assist Goldberg and Sting. The show went off the air. It was a great show. And, we did see like highlights of the Warrior, the smoke-filled ring. And then once it cleared, you saw the Disciple. And then, of course, Hulk Hogan, wanting to get the Disciple and whatnot. And then the ring fills with smoke again and the Disciple disappears. So it was a great, great Monday Nitro. It was a 3-hour show. But again, it was September 14th, 1998. It was right after Fall Brawl. So it was a great show. So, I mean, this is back when, when you had WWE or WWF versus WCW. And this is the bottom line. When you got competition, you got to better yourself to try to outdo the other. When you don't have competition like we don't have nowadays, the promotions just don't care. And that's the bottom line. So anyway, peace out, everybody. Here on this Thursday night, SmackDown coming on tonight. John Cena, Daniel Bryan are teaming up to go up against Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. That's the match I'm looking forward to. So we'll see y'all again tomorrow. And again, check out Sean's View Entertainment and Gemini 888 for their video where they had their interview with each other. It was an excellent interview, and I congratulate both of them for doing what they did. So again, peace out. We'll see y'all next time. This is the one and only Iceman.